Sure. Please go ahead. Yeah, Ishwar, you can just talk about your.
I think
You can hear me, right?
Yes, you're audible.
Madam. So you can hear me, right, madam? Yeah, we're starting, madam. Nothing else. Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, so let's start with introduction. So yeah, we'll go with alphabetical order. Yeah, elsewhere up. Go ahead, please.
Hi everyone, this is Prabhakar, and uh, I'm currently working as senior associate in mainframe tech delivery. So my
Oh,
entire
great.
career is in mainframes only.
Okay. So you are
Thank-
new to this, right?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Anil. Anil, you can hear me, right? Anil Kumar. Okay, fine. Let's go with the next person. Yeah, Gayatri. Gayatri, can you hear us?
Hello, yeah. Hello all. I'm Stravya Gayatri. I've been with Mass Mutual for about 2.5 years now, and I primarily work on Informatica Power Center and Informatica MDM. And our team has a new project coming up where we'll be using Informatica Cloud, so I've enrolled into this course. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Sayed.
Yeah,
Sayed.
yeah. Hi. So this is
Yeah.
Sayed there, working as data engineer using Vertica, having 8+ of years of experience in data warehousing. So, thank you.
Okay, good. So Prasad.
Hi all, this is Prasad. I have total 7+ years into ETL stream using Informatica Power Center and generic ETL tools. So currently I'm more interested to explore in IICS, so I am here now. Thank you.
Okay. Sri Lekha.
Hello everyone, I'm Srilekha and I'm working as a senior analyst here at Mass Mutual and I primarily work with Informatica on-prem devices. So on Mass Mutual strategy as we are moving to cloud, I just enrolled it to know hows about it.
So Kavya.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Kavya. I'm working as analyst in Mass Mutual. I'm mostly work on the SQL and I'm new to Informatica.
Okay. So yes, next person. Yeah. So Divya.
Hi everyone, I'm Divya. I have 4+ years of experience. It's been 6 months I went to Mass Mutual. So the thing is, we have a new project coming up on IICS. So that's the reason I have enrolled it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madhu.
Hi all, my name is Madhu. I have 5+ years experience in Informatica Power Center and Informatica TDM. So I just want to upgrade myself, so I enrolled into ICS.
Okay. Surya Prasad.
Yeah, hi all. I have 8 years of experience, but total experience is in mainframes. So I want to upgrade myself and I enrolled for IACS cloud service.
Okay. Bharat. Bharat Teja.
Hey, hi. I work as a BA developer and I have little knowledge and experience with Power Center Informatica. It is not cloud. It wasn't cloud. I'd like to learn this new thing.
Okay, Shravan.
Hello, hi all. My name is Shravan Kumar Pilli. So I joined in Mass Mutual last January. So I have total 3 years of IT experience. So previously I worked on Informatica Power Center. So currently interested in to learn ISC Cloud for further coming projects. Thank you.
Fine. Muralidhar Reddy.
Hi. I have 8 years of experience, and that is mostly into mainframes. So I wanted to learn a bit of Informatica, so I've joined here. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Next person, Pratap Singh. Okay. Response. So, fine. Adi Sharma.
Yeah, hi all. I've been working with Informatica applications for more than 4 years now, and we have a recent effort in which we are migrating towards IACS from Informatica Power Center. So regarding that effort, I've enrolled into this training. Thank you.
Rohit.
Hi, Narendra. So I have 10 plus years of experience in Informatic Power Center. The prior guy, Adi Sharma, he works with me. So we are dealing with a project wherein there is this modernization from Power Center to IACS. So that is where we are in this training to understand more about IACS.
So thanks all guys. About myself, I have so more than 22 years of experience where I work for different kinds of tools, and one of the tool is going to be what Informatica Cloud. So anyway, you'll understand deeper insights to Informatica Cloud as we go on. Yeah. So let us get started with the introduction to Informatica Cloud, where we would understand the architecture of Informatica Cloud and see how this particular architecture differs from on-prem version of ETL, which we call Informatica Power Center, right? So I hope, let me try to share my desktop. Yeah. So I hope all of you could able to see my desktop, right? Yes, sir.
Hi,
Yes.
your voice is breaking. I'm able to hear clearly.
Oh, voice is breaking up, huh?
Correct.
And now it's fine.
Is it
Now it's
same?
better.
Better, right? Okay, good. Okay. Now, remember, guys, why we are trying to talk about Informatica Cloud. The reason is nowadays, most of the tools or applications, they are into what? Cloud. So, Informatica also, they started off building data integration and other data management activities in a cloud. Like, for example, data quality, data profiling, MDM, API manager, enterprise data catalog, Axon, data governance, all that. Yeah, which means whatever we could able to do it in on-prem, most of them we could able to perform it in the cloud also. Now I can ask question, what are the benefits or what is a major benefit that we are going to get it once we start getting into what Informatica Cloud? The first and foremost benefit is going to be what one, we don't need to install. Second, we don't need to configure. Third, we don't need to maintain. In the sense, installation part, configuration part, and maintenance part would be taken care by Informatica. So we don't need to worry. So we are going to come out from lots of headaches. So that's one of the primary reason why the usage of Informatica Cloud has become more popular and most widely used tool. Yeah? And next, let us say, with respect to features wise, whatever we could do in local environment, we could able to perform it even in what cloud environment. Remember that. Yeah. I repeat, whatever can be done in the local environment, similar things could also be achieved in what cloud environment. Remember. Plus, in cloud, there are lots of, or there are many capabilities which are more user friendly from the customer perspective. For example, customers they themselves can build a solution without dependency or with little dependency from the application developers. Remember that, right? So that's it. So which means whichever you take, Informatica Cloud is going to preside over the local version of ETL. Fine. So anyway, you are going to see many more benefits as we go on. So that's the starting point. And next thing, remember guys, when you take any information management product and any IAM product would follow what pre-built life cycle, where we could start with let's say access layer, then followed by discover layer, then followed by cleanse. So cleanse layer, then followed by MDM, then we've got integration layer. Yeah? Then finally, we can deliver the result of this ETL to final target, which we call enterprise data warehouse. That's it. So this is a common life cycle that we all follow for any information management product. Like we have got IBM InfoSphere information management product, Informatica information management product, Ab initio, Pentaho, Talent. There are lots of IAM products that we have in the market in the space of what? Commercial and also in what? Open source. All of them would follow what? Similar life cycle. Remember that. Now the question, why we are trying to talk about this? The reason is what? So we need to understand where do we stand with respect to this particular training program. For that, I'll just try to touch upon with high-level bullet points using this particular life cycle, right? The first thing, access layer. As the name suggests, access layer will be used in order to read the data from one or more source systems. For example, so data could be expressed in the form of what? Some broader categories. For example, let's say structured data, and second is going to be unstructured data. Then third is going to be application-oriented data, and fourth would be legacy data, and fifth that is a machine learning or artificial intelligence data. Yeah? So these are the broader categories of data that one can expect from one or more source systems. I'll just touch upon one or two examples for each of these categories so that we would understand, okay, like in broader terms, how these terms means, like structure, unstructured, and so on, right? Now, if you take first and foremost thing, which is going to be structured data. Before I talk about it, In case if you get, and if you need any clarification or if you have any question, right, you can always stop me and start asking questions. Remember, clear guys? Any kind of question you can ask me at any time. Remember that. So I'm supposed to answer any kind of question at any time. I will do that definitely. Fine. So fine. So now the first thing, what is meant by structured data? So to answer that, the structured data meaning what? If data which is represented in a consistent format, then we can say that it is a structured data. Now the question, how to define the format over here? So format, if you take a file, would be expressed one in the form of what? Column delimiter, and second row delimiter, third end of file marker. Yeah. Now let us take one simple example and understand these three types of delimiters with that example so that we could understand better. And from that we can infer whether this particular sample data would be part of structured data or not. Yeah. Now let us take an example. Let's say we have got three columns, namely C1, C2, and C3, and corresponding data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, and 9, right? Let us take this. Now, with this sample data, what is the column delimiter that we have over here? So you guys can start saying about it, guys, because let's make it interactive. Otherwise, you'll get bored. I'll also get bored. Yeah? What is the column delimiter here?
It's a comma.
Comma, exactly. If you take C1 and C2, we can see what comma delimiter. Between C2 and C3, comma delimiter. So we can see what similar delimiter that has been used for all the rows that we have as part of this particular sample data. So as a result, we can say that format is what? Consistent for all the rows. Fine. Now, next question. If we talk about row delimiter, can you see this is a complete row, right? Yes or no? Now tell me how these rows have been separated. It is
End
what?
of line.
New line, yes, exactly. New line, right? Yeah. So new line or new row or whatever, right? And now, so for example, first and second, it is ended with what? New line. And this also is ended with what? New line. Now at the end, what do you see here? Empty line, which signifies what? End of file marker, which indicates end of a file. Remember that. So which means all the rows are following consistency with respect to format. As a result, we can say that this data would be considered as what? Structured data. Clear? That's the first thing. Now, let me try to modify this particular sample data and tell me whether that particular sample data would be part of structured or not. Let's say 1 comma 2 semicolon 3 and 4 dot 5 colon and 7 comma 8 comma 9. Now tell me guys, can we consider this particular sample data as a structured or not? Answer is what? Answer is what?
It can
Yes.
still be considered as structured because even if we are choosing the comma as the delimiter, the second and the third column value in the second row would be empty. Only the first column will have value as 4.5 colon 6.
Okay. So fine. So look at here, guys, but we should not lose any data. We should get data for all three columns. That is our expectation, right? So if you take that expectation in mind, now between 1 and 2, there's a comma. Between 2 and 3, semicolon. Between 4 and 5, dot. Between 5 and 6, colon. Rest, comma only, right? So which means we need to ask, or we can expect from the tool, can we allow more than one delimiter to pull the data? Answer is yes. Which means what? We can have more than one delimiter as part of column data separation. So once you configure these 4 delimiters, then we could able to pull the data without any error. Remember that. And row delimiter and the end of file marker, that is same as earlier. There is no change. Fine. That's a simple example from file perspective. Now let us take what another example, which is going to be a table. Yeah. So before we talk about table, from where this particular table has come from, you can ask this question to yourself, right? Yes or no? No? So we all know that whatever database that we talk about, they're all derived from some specification or a template. In this case, we could able to see RDBMS specification, which we call Relational Database Management System. So in this particular RDBMS, it follows what I call predefined instructions, in the sense there are fixed guidelines that every vendor should follow. For instance, if you take Oracle, they need to follow whatever spec defined by RDBMS expert group. Similarly, if you take a SQL Server, or if you take a DB2 from IBM or whatever, so whosoever the end vendor, right, they all need to follow what I call spec defined by RDBMS expert group. Then only they can claim that their database is in compliance with what RDBMS standard or specification. Anyway, these databases are following RDBMS spec. As a result, we can say that whatever DB object that we deal with, all of them would be part of what? Structured data, because it's predefined, right? So we are not following with our own terms. Whatever is what we call defined by the group, we are just in line with that. As a result, whatever DB object that we take in one of these listed databases, they all be part of what? Structured data. For example, now let us take a table. So table means what? It's a what do you call? A set of rows with its associated columns. Yes or no? For instance, let's say we got column 1, column 2, row 1, and row 2. And corresponding data would be, let's say 1, 2, then 3, 4, right? Let us take this particular sample data. Yes or no? Now tell me, guys, how to pull the data corresponding to what we call grid 1, meaning row 1, column 1 data. Similarly, how to obtain the data associated to grid 2. These are the questions, right? To answer that, one of the spec that we have within this RDBMS spec is going to be what? Matrix specification, where we can specify R1, C1 so that we can pull the value corresponds to that. Let's say 1. Similarly, we can also specify, let's say R1, C2 so that we can pull the value corresponds to grid 2. Yeah. So same process would be repeated for what we call row 2, column 1, so that we can get value 3 and so on. So which means what? This matrix is one of the spec which is part of RDBMS. As a result, whatever data that we have within this table could be read without any issues. But people would think from user perspective, right? Like select start from table, whatever. Yes or no? That's not the point. That's only from user's perspective. The main reason why we have this table data structured is what this is a spec actually. Yeah. Fine. So now let us take another example, which is the most important example because that's what we are going to use Informatica Cloud quite a lot. Yeah. So to perform many things, for example, if you want to perform real-time data integration, then we can think of using what? XML. So which is extended markup language, right? And if you want to perform, or if you want to represent hierarchical data or tree-wise data, then also we can go with what? XML. So, or if you want to interact with third-party portal applications, that also could be done by using what? XML. So likewise, you can think of some more examples where the usage of XML is enormous, right? So now let us start getting into understanding like whatever data that we have in XML is part of a structured or not. To answer that, let me give simple example. From that, you guys can tell me whether that would be part of structured or not. Yep. So let's say we have got root, then followed by child, then followed by grandchild, then followed by key value pairs. Let's say key equal to C1 and corresponding value, let's say 1, 2, 3, and close the tag, right? So that's it. Similarly, we can just close this particular GC, then close what I call child, then close what? Root. That's it. This is a simple what I call XML. Now tell me how to pull the data corresponding to attribute C1. Can someone answer this question?
By using their parent tags, parent tags.
By using what?
Parent tags. So we'll first access the root instead of root child. So GC like that we can access.
Okay. So remember, XML is one of the language, right? Every language will have pre-built instructions. So what is the pre-built instructions or instruction that we could use to pull the value corresponds to C1 attribute? So that's where we use a term XPath. Yes or no? XPath is what? XML path, which will be used to traverse from top to bottom or bottom to top or from anywhere to anywhere. It's like a folder traversal or directory traversal that we do in any file system. Yes or no, guys? Now let us try to what we call supply what the X path in this particular sample data where. So we need to pull the value corresponds to C1 over here. Like for example, root, then we have got a child, then we got a grandchild, another we got a C1, so that we could able to pull the value. That's it. So which means what? Irrespective of where we what we call place any attribute, right? We can pull the data corresponds to it by supplying what? Corresponding X path. So that's it, guys. So that is why whatever data that we have within XML would be considered as what? Structured data. But some people would call it as what? Semi-structured, because we can also place the data in what? Multiple levels. For example, let's say we can also have another attribute under what? Let's say child level. Yeah. So I repeat, we have got another attribute which is at what child level. Likewise, we can have n number of attributes in different levels. So that's the reason why the data that we have under XML will be considered as what structured or structured data, but semi-structured some people would call because of this multiple levels. Yeah. So once we have level change and corresponding attributes, right? Now tell me guys, how to pull the value corresponds to attribute C2. Yeah. Can someone answer this question? Answer is what? We just have to take out this GC because at child level itself, we've got C2 attributes. So we can specify C2 so that we can get the value corresponds to that. So same process would be repeated even if you want to pull the data associated to C3 attribute. Yes or no? Now tell me guys, in case if you need any clarification with these particular samples, please let me know. Yeah, clear to everyone? Yeah. Likewise, you can think of many examples where they would come under the category of structured data. Now let us talk about another category which we call application-oriented data. Yeah. Now let us understand what is meant by application over here, right? So to answer that, application is going to be what? A program. Program, or we can say application is going to be, let's say, process, right? And process is what we call a collection of programs, or we can say program. And program is what? Set of logical instructions. Yes or no? So, and set of logical instructions. Yeah. So that's it. So which means set of logical instructions means what? So there is a pre-built stuff. So now the question, how are we going to start what I call pulling the data belonging to any application? So within this application, guys, there are two categories that we could think over here. One is based on what? Predefined application. I repeat, one is going to be what I call predefined application, and second would be custom defined application. Yes or no? So predefined application meaning what, guys? So how to define predefined application? Yeah. So it is an application which is defined by somebody else. For example, we can take SAP or we can take like PeopleSoft. Yeah. So SAP, PeopleSoft, CBell, and so on. So these are all the examples of pre-built or predefined application. Remember that. Yeah. So why we need that? Let us say in these applications, they would have built some logic. Now, as a user, so we need to obtain the logic defined by pre-built applications from one module or two modules or n number of modules. To do that, what we need to do? So we need to start obtaining the license for the connector. For example, to talk to SAP, we can have SAP connector. Similarly, we can have the corresponding connectors for PeopleSoft and CBell. And once we have it, through that connector, we could able to talk to the relevant application and pull the data belonging to any specific module. So that's where this particular pre-built application would come in. Yeah? Now, the next question, can we get all the capabilities or all the features of what we need from external applications? That's highly impossible, right? So we cannot get it. Now the question, how do you take care of the functionality which is not supported by existing applications. So to answer that, we can build our own application, which we call custom application from the scratch. So in order to build custom application, we can start making use of any programming language like a Java, Python, or any other programming language, using which we could able to build our own application from the scratch. So remember guys, yes or no? For example, let us say we need to calculate sum of n natural numbers, assuming that this functionality is not there with existing applications. In that case, we can write a code where we can start what you call building a logic, example n into n plus 1 by 2. Yeah? So we can build the logic by using this particular formula, and it returns what? To calculate sum of n natural numbers. Yes or no? Once you're done with that, so we can just make a call from a main method, like a public static void main we have in Java, right? So we all know that. Then call this particular sum method by supplying any value. And so you'll get the return, which is, let's say, integer sum result over here. That's it, like 55, whatever. Yeah? So this is how we can write a code. And once you write a code, the next step is what? We need to start compiling this particular code. Let's say sum.java. Then you'll get what sum.class. Then once we have this particular class file, likewise you can build n number of classes and generate one intermediate file, which we call archive file. So we can say Java archive, where we can archive n number of class files by using what jar cvf and followed by some dot jar with n number of classes. That's it. So this way we could able to build some dot jar file and deploy this particular jar file in any location where from Informatica Cloud you could able to access it. Yeah? So that from Informatica Cloud, like a data integration, you can directly call sum by supplying any number, so that we are going to get the return value based on whatever the functionality that we have underneath. That's it. Yeah. So this way we can build n number of applications by ourselves. Remember that. Yeah. That's one more example. That's one example under custom defined application, or building a custom application from the scratch. Yeah. Clear, guys? So that's it. Now the next question. Let us say we have got another category that we call legacy category. So legacy means what? A traditional. Yeah. Before that, if you have any questions, guys, so please try to shoot out. Yeah. Any questions from anybody?
So far, no.
Okay, fine. So now let us talk about legacy category. So legacy meaning a traditional system. For example, we've got a thinking machines, bar readers, mainframe systems, and so they're all part of what? Traditional systems. Now the question, let us say there is a need to pull the data from mainframe system. How do I do that? For that, we have to have a path or utility for mainframe, so that using this particular path, we can talk to mainframe, one to pull the data, second to push the data. Both are possible if you have this particular pack installed within our Informatica Cloud environment, you know, or information management product environment. Anything is fine. Now to do this, remember guys, there are two ways to perform, like connecting with traditional systems. One, we can log on to mainframe system and perform export to a file, like whatever module function that you wanted, and then FTP to our environment, then import from a file. So this way we follow in order to perform what you call pulling the data from mainframe system. That's one point of view. That's one example. Next is what? Let us say we need to start performing real-time data integration. In such cases, can we achieve it by using these options like export, FTP, and import? Answer is no. Why? Because if we say real time, as and when the data is ready, we should be in a position to read the data. Yes or no? That is not possible with this particular approach. So we need to go with what? Another way to talk to mainframe system, where from our environment, let's say Informatica Cloud environment, we should have direct connection with what? Mainframe server. Remember that. So that as soon as the data is ready in mainframe, Informatica Cloud or Informatica or any other IAM product, can start pulling the data from it. That's it. So this way we could able to achieve it. But anyway, every option will have some pros and cons. In this case, if you have, let us say, network, which is a low-end system or low-end network or mid-size network or high-speed network, in any network, right, there'll be some bandwidth issues. So that's going to be the flaw or the issue over here. So most widely used option in reality would be what? This one. One, it's ease of use, and second, so there would be much issues like a bandwidth or whatever. Yeah? That's a fact of the matter. Yeah? That's one category. And another category would be what? Unstructured data, which we did not talk about it, but this is one of the important category. For example, let's say we have got what we call data which is not represented in a structured form. For example, let's say we have a PDF document. Yeah. So let's say we have got PDF document, then we have, let's say, Word document, then data from, let's say, log files, or data from mails, or data from any social media sites. Like, for example, we can take a Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or any other social media site, right? So they all will be represented data in what? Unstructured form. Now the question, how are we going to start pulling the data if the data is in what? Unstructured form. So that's going to be the question mark. So to answer that, so Informatica Cloud offers what? A way to convert unstructured to structured. Once you convert to structured, from then on, we can take care of rest, like performing any kind of logic within Informatica Cloud. That's it. I'll try to show, I'll show one practical example, like how to convert unstructured to structured, because in Informatica Cloud, we have got what we call cloud architecture, which is driven from artificial intelligence, right? So, which means what? It has got pre-built intelligence through which there is a way to convert unstructured to structured. We will talk about it like how that particular intelligent structure model is going to help us in order to take care of converting unstructured to structured category, right? But if you want to do it by yourself, like for example, if you take a PDF document where the document is a collection of several types. For example, we can have a simple text, or we can have a paragraph, or we can have embedded links, or we can have what we call even tables, or we can have objects and so on, which means what? It's a collection of several types. Now, how are we going to pull the data if the data is in what? Collection of several forms. So that's going to be the question mark. Yes or no? So to answer that, we use what? Either third-party tool, or we can also write our own code, which means our own program to convert unstructured to structured category. For example, there is an open source platform, which is Apache APIs, which are going to help us in order to convert unstructured to structured. For example, to take care of simple text, we can use one or more APIs. Yes or no? One or more APIs. And similarly, if you want to read paragraph, same process will be repeated over here, like usage of one or more APIs. And then we have what? Links, like embedded references. For that also, we've got a pre-built APIs. We as a user need to know like how to make use of those APIs to take care of reading the data in what? Different forms, like what we can see over here. Yes or no, guys? So that's it. Once you are done with that, the job is done, like conversion, right? So this way we can take care, but this requires a coding knowledge on Java so that we can write a code to perform conversion. But it's a complex task because once you write a code, we need to make it stable. To make it stable, so we need to carry out rigorous testing. So that would require a lot of time. So that is why most of the people, they go with what? The usage of third-party tools, which are well tested, right? We just need to know like how to make use of those tools to perform the conversion. That's it. So that's it, guys, about unstructured category. But even Informatica Cloud, we got a provision to convert unstructured to structured by using artificial intelligence. We will see how it's going to work to take care of that. Right? And another category.
So how to like we handle JSON data, JSON?
Yeah, JSON is straightforward. See, JSON is just a superset of XML, right? In a sense. So once you could able to take care of XML data, so whatever is taking care of the XML, you can also take care by using JSON. JSON is just like a simple.
Like nested JSON. Nested JSON also can we do?
Yes. Anything, nested JSON or any levels of nesting, but we need to configure within Informatica Cloud in such a way that you could able to take care of reading the data from nested JSON. Yes, you are right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But anyway, we'll talk about with some practical examples so that you will see like how to pull the data from JSON or simple JSON or nested JSON, whatever. Yeah. See, ultimately nested or doesn't matter how it is represented, right? We just specify the path, you know. So based on the path, we could able to pull. So we don't need to care about whether this particular data or JSON data is in nested or non-nested or whatever. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Any other questions from anybody, guys? Okay, so no questions, so fine. Now, another category which is evolving now, but it is not that stable. Let us say if we get machine learning data or artificial intelligence data, how are we going to pull it? So that's going to be the question mark. So again, in order to take care of it, so we have to have a connector like ML connector or a connector through which we could able to start pulling the data from it. Yeah. That's what we do by using what this particular access layer. I think I covered all the categories supported as part of what access layer. That's it. Yeah. Now with this we understood like how to get the data. Only that much only we did. Now the next question. Once you read the data, what do we do with that particular data? So what do you do, guys? We can start what we call carrying out analysis, or we can say discover. I think you guys are experts in this. That's what I heard from the introduction. So now we can use multiple what we call synonyms for discover, like analysis. So we can also call understand or identify issues or profile data or whatever, yeah, or explore the data. These are all synonyms, guys. So don't get into confusion mode because they are one and the same. Yeah. Now that's okay. What do we do with this particular discover layer? So discover layer is going to help us to identify the issues. I repeat, discover layer is going to help us to identify issues. One, with respect to what metadata, and second, with respect to what data. Yeah. So, which means both would be taken care by using what discover layer. For example, if you take data issues, right? So data issues could be expressed one based on what duplicacy, second based on what nulls, third based on let's say range issues, and fifth based on let's say any other pattern issue or whatever. So we can think of someone. So remember guys, we can identify these issues one with a manual approach or traditional approach, and second with automated approach or by using what tools. So with manual approach, there is a chance to make a mistake, or we make what lots of mistakes if we go with what manual approach. That is why most of the people or most of the customers they would prefer to go with what automated tools so that we can minimize the issues. Remember, same thing would be applicable even from what identifying the issues what metadata level. So metadata means what data about data or data over data. Remember guys. So I repeat, metadata issues means what data about data or data over data. Now tell me guys, if you let me give one example like what we discussed earlier, like a C1 comma C2 comma C3, 1 comma 2 comma 3, 4 comma 5 comma 6. Now tell me in this particular sample data, what could be the probable metadata? Yeah, or exact metadata, anything is fine. Yeah. Can someone try to give me an answer for this? Because these are very fundamental topics, guys. So we all need to understand this before we get into understanding of what several topics under Informatica Cloud. Remember that. Yeah. So what is this, guys? Metadata here. Simple. Metadata comprises of what? Column name. Yes, please.
C1, C2, C3 column names.
Okay. Fine. So metadata comprises of what? Column name, column type, nullability, scale, precision, short description, long description, and so on. They all would contribute metadata. Remember, guys. So in this case, let us say mandatory ones are column name and column type, like a C1 with the type of integer, C2 with the type of integer, C3 with the type of integer, because here we could be able to see all the rows, and for all the columns, they follow what? Integer. Yeah. So that's it. This is going to be the metadata. Remember, can we read the data without metadata, guys? Answer is no. It's not possible, right? For example, so how do you read this data by using metadata? Simple. When you try to read, right, C1 equal to 1, C2 equal to 2, and C3 equal to what? 3. Yeah. And similarly, same process would be repeated even to read the data from second row. For example, C1 equal to 4 and C2 equal to 5 and C3 equal to what? 6. Yeah. So this way, we could start pulling the data from multiple rows and for each row, relevant column data. This is what happens in reality. Remember that. So that is why there is no way of reading the data without metadata. That's the bottom line over here, right? Now, so a simple way to understand how this particular discover layer is going to work, meaning we can identify the issues with respect to what? Metacom data. Just remember that. Yeah. Now, there are multiple what are the profiling techniques or analysis techniques which are going to help us to identify issues. So, for example, if you take one tool, so they follow or they will have their own profiling techniques or analysis techniques. For example, let's say we've got column profiling, then we have got what is called rule-based profiling, then we have got cross-table analysis, then we have got foreign key analysis, you know, then we have got join key analysis, or we can also have functional dependency analysis. Yeah. So which means you guys would have used it. So I'm trying to talk about some of them. Yeah. So which means these are the different kinds of analysis techniques that we can apply in order to identify the issues at a single object level or at multiple objects level. Multiple means what? Where we start getting into the usage of cross table or linkage between or among n number of objects. So that's where so more than one object usage would come in. Yes or no? So that's it. Yeah. So what do they do? That I think you guys can explore. Probably if I get a time, I'll just touch upon one example practically, because in Informatica Cloud we can do it quite easily by using data profiling microservice. Yeah. So here column level issues we identify. Here we can build a formula based on what? Pre-built statistical equation or pre-built any formula. A result of that will be stored in a virtual column, which we call a rule. And then once you store it, we can carry out what we call profiling against with this particular virtual column based on each column property, because it's a virtual, right? Which means it's derived from the rule. Once you derive, right, rest of the properties that we use for column profiling exactly same as what we use it as part of virtual column profiling. That's it. Nothing different from that. Yeah. So similarly, cross table. For example, let's say we need to start identifying common records between, let's say, two tables like employee and department. In that case, we can make these two tables to talk to each other by building primary key of one table that will become as foreign key to another table. Once we are done with that, then we can start understanding the kind of data that we have in both the tables. Similarly, foreign key analysis is purely driven from keys only. We cannot use this particular foreign key analysis for non-key data. And join key analysis, we can use it for what? Non-key data plus even key data also. So we can say that join key analysis is going to be the superset of foreign key analysis. Yeah? So, and then we have functional dependency. Why I'm trying to talk about this? Because if we have high level perspective, right, then you can just correlate when you try to do some practical examples within Informatica Cloud. That's why I'm trying to touch upon some concepts at the beginning itself. Clear, guys? So now we have got functional dependency. Remember, guys, if you look at any business, for example, there is a customer data where, let's say, there is a zip code. Now tell me, guys, how the zip code formation would take place. So it would form one based on what? State or province, and second based on what? City. Yeah. So based on this particular two, we could able to form a zip code. For instance, let's say we have got one simple zip code, which is 60036. Yeah. So from this, we can infer from which state this particular data has come from. I said Tamil Nadu. And from which city, right? Which is going to be, let's say, Chennai. Yes or no? No? So which means we could able to identify what we call from which area this data has come from. Now the question, let's say this is a one row and second row or some other row, nth row, let us say, where for the same zip code, which is 60036, data is from, let us say, same. If you take a state where we have got, let us say, Tamil Nadu, but city, let us say, Coimbatore. So as a result, we can say that this particular data is not what we call functionally dependent or functional violated data, or we can say Madurai. Anything is fine. Yes or no? So which means data should be same irrespective of whatever row that we deal with. Remember that, yeah. So that's it. Like how this particular what you call functional violations could be identified by using what? Functional dependency analysis. Fine, guys. We'll just take walk quickly 2 minutes break, guys. So meantime, you guys can prepare questions and ask questions. I'll just come back in 2 minutes. Yeah, so I'm back, guys. So if anybody's got any questions, you guys can shoot out now. Yeah. Yeah. So I hope it's clear, right? So conceptually should be very strong, guys. Remember that tool is very simple. Anybody can make use of it. Yeah. Now that we understood like what we do by using what discover layer. So just to conclude this, we identify issues by using discover layer. Now what do we do once we identify issues? So we need to start fixing those issues. And where do we fix those issues, guys? That's where we have got another layer which we call cleanse layer, or we can also call it as quality layer. So which is going to help us in order to fix the issues. Yeah. So let me give one more example here. Yeah. So let us say we have got multiple states within India, right? For example, let's say we have got Tamil Nadu, Telangana, AP, or Haryana, or Maharashtra, whatever. So let us say we got multiple states, and each state has got its own way of representing the country code. This is Tamil Nadu, they're represented by using what? IND and IND dot in some other state and IN dot in third state and some other state, let's say I, some other state, let's say I dot whatever, which means what? Each state they're following on their own way of representing the country code. Now, now tell me, are we going to build a solution by using the same data as it is? Answer is no. Then how do you identify one issues? Second, how to fix the issues? Issues what here? The data is what? Non-standardized across multiple states within the same country. So what we need to do? So we need to start performing the data standardization. So now the question, how to define the standardization? Remember, as the name suggests, we convert n number of representations to a single or unique representation, which we call data standardization. Yeah, I repeat, we can convert n number of representations to a single or unique representation, which we call data standardization. Clear, guys? So that's it. Now, how do you do that? So remember, guys, if you take any IT industry, right? So you will have different kinds of stakeholders like developers, analysts, stewards, managers, and so on, right? Now, in this case, so we need to take the help from business analyst to come up with what would be the right country code that we can use across all the states. So that's a question, right? Yes or no? For example, wherever there is a IN, IND or IND dot or IN dot or I dot, all of them would be replaced with a single and unique representation, which is let's say IND. So which means all of them, which is five representations, will be converted to single. Yeah. So 5 to 1. So this is what we call data standardization. Clear, guys? So which means n to 1, we are trying to convert over here. So that's where standardization is going to help us, which means in this we know how to identify issues, how to fix issues by applying what? Standardization techniques. That's it. So likewise, you can think of address standardization, telephone number standardization, zip code standardization, and so on. Remember that. So I hope it is clear, right? Yes or no? So that's it. Like how clones is going to work. One example I give. Likewise, you can think of address validation. You know? So how do you guarantee that whatever address that we have, and with that address, we can deliver item to the right person? You know? So to answer that, so we need to perform the address verification. Yeah, even that is also going to be the one of the clones issue, and which we can fix by using what again, standardization. So likewise, you can think of there could be data which contains parsing issues. Yeah, so like full name which contains the first, middle, last, salutation, and so on, right? So issue is what, having a full name or full name with no salutation, whatever. There are some small issues, so we can also fix it by applying appropriate parsing technique. Yeah? So likewise, we can see or we can identify many issues and start getting them fixed. Yeah? We can also identify match issues or duplicacy issues in a clans. But in plants, we do not have exhaustive capabilities through which we can identify the duplicate records and start getting them fixed. So that's where we can go with what, MDM, where we have got exhaustive match and merge rules, which are going to help us, one, to identify duplicate records by using fuzzy logic or exact matching strategy. Second, we can perform merge, where we convert n number of records to a single record. So that is where MDM has become more popular and most widely used tool in the market. Clear, guys? So that's it. You know? Now, well, as a result of this particular MDM, we are going to get a good data, which we call master data or single version of a truth, best version of a truth, system of reference record, or golden record, or simply a good data. That's it. So which means we need to obtain the good data first. After that only we can start applying what we call integration. So which means most of the people, they directly get into what, integration, yeah, to perform data integration operations like ETL, right? Extract, transform, and load. Yeah. So, but if you do that, there is a chance to make a mistake. For example, let me give one example here. Yeah. So let us say, guys, one person or one of the customer is holding an account in what, two banks, namely bank one and bank two. Yeah. So now let's say in bank one, there is some name and address. Let's say bank one, we got ABC, and address, let's say we have 123 street number, street name, and other address elements. Yeah. In bank two, we have got full name, but partial or no address has been given in second bank. Yeah. The question, there is a merger happened between these two banks where you are holding an account. Now tell me, after merger, what would happen? I repeat, what would happen after merger? That's a question, right? So there is going to be, yeah. So, yeah, you want to say something? Gayatri?
That was by mistake.
Okay.
One record will be surviving is the answer.
Okay. Looks like you worked on
No,
MDM, right?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now let us say after merger, yeah, then what happens? We need to retain only one record. Yeah. So how do you do that? So to do that in MDM, what we do, we apply cleanse, trust, validation, match, and merge. These are the different types of rules that we apply in order to come up with formation of a good data, which we call master data, or we can say survival record, right? So that's it. Now let us say in this case, let's say we have got what we call trust, where we've got 70 here and 90 here. In second record, 90 we have it here, 60 over here. Now, trust is going to be one of the rule that we use within MDM to create master data. So in simple terms, whichever record per column has got highest trust, that is going to be the survival record. For example, in this case, if you take a name column associated to bank 1 and bank 2, which has got more or highest trust, guys, second record, so ABCD is going to get survived. Fine. So that's it. Now let's apply the same logic for what? Another column, which is address column, where first record has got highest trust associated to bank 1, so that this value will be survived. Which means what? We are going to apply a rule at cell level or at column level instead of at row level. So can you see here, guys? So combination of the data from multiple columns is going to be the survived record or master data. Now, can you achieve this by using data integration tools? Answer is no, because integration tools, they are going to work at record level or at row level, but they don't work at column level. For instance, if you go with what data integration tools like ETL tools, where either first record will be survived or second record will be survived. For example, if take this particular first record like ABC followed by street number, street name, whatever, right? Then in this case, we have a good address. That's okay. We don't have good name, because if you say name, if the name contains longest or whichever record has got more number of characters, we can consider that as what? Trustworthy data when it comes to what? Name column. In this case, we are going to fail, which means one is good, but other is not good. So ultimately, we have not got the right data. Similarly, same thing, we can use what? Second record. Let's say we are trying to retain the second record as what? A good record. In this case, we have got ABCD and null. Now, what happens here? Name wise, we are good. Address wise, we are not. So in this case also, we are going to fail. In both the cases, ETL tools or integration tools are going to fail. That is why it is always advisable to choose what you call or to follow this particular life cycle, so that there is no way of making any mistake over here, because we are trying to identify these kinds of issues and take care of it by using what MDM, whatever. And then output of that MDM would be taken as input to what? Integration tools, and start applying data integration, what you call rules like merge or lookup or join or any other integration tools. Yeah? So once you perform integration, right? Anyway, we're going to spend a lot of time to understand what all the different activity that we carry out within this integration layer with practical examples. We are going to do that anyway. And output of this integration could be delivered to a final target, which we call data warehouse, that can be used for any enterprise application. So that's what we do in this particular life cycle. Just to summarize, we read the data, identify issues, and we fix the data by using cleanse and MDM, and we collect it, which is integration, and deliver it to a final target, which we call the warehouse. That's a simple way to summarize like what we discussed as part of this particular Informatica or information management life cycle. Now it's your turn to ask any kind of question, guys. Yeah, any questions from anybody so far? Yeah. So no questions, huh? Fine. Now there are a bunch of tools in the market, guys. Like in access layer, we can use some tools to read it, like reading data from PDF document, one third party tool, reading data from SAP, some whatever. We got bunch of tools in the market. Similarly, Discover also. If you take Informatica Product Suite, where we have got Informatica Analyst or Informatica Data Explorer, so which is going to help us to identify the issues. Yes or no? Yeah. And if you take IBM InfoSphere IM product, where we have got information analyzer to take care of identifying the issue. Similarly, if you go with a cleanse layer, where we have got Informatica data quality and or cloud data quality in Informatica product suite. Similarly, we have got quality stage in IBM and so on. Like if you go with the open source IM product like a Talent, right? So we've got Talent data quality. Yeah. So that's it. So similarly, MDM also we've got bunch of tools in the market. If you take Informatica product suite, where we have got Informatica MDM, formerly it was known as Siberian XU versions. Yeah. So likewise, IBM also has got their own MDM tools, and Talent MDM also we have in open source. Integration also same, like in local environment, Informatica Power Center we have. In a cloud environment, we have got Informatica Cloud, or we can say Informatica Intelligent Cloud Data Integration. To be precise, CDI we call cloud data integration. Right? Then as a result of it, we can deliver it to any target. Target could be a file or table or application or legacy system, or it could be even a portal application also. It could be anything. That's it. So this is a summary of what you call the tools in each of these layers. Clear, guys, to everyone? I heard most of your seniors, guys. So you need to ask questions so that we can make it more interactive, because I heard many of you are from analyst background. So analysts, they are the deep thinkers, because they'll have deeper knowledge on data along with what you call domain. So they are the right people who can play the role of business analysts. So being an analyst, you need to ask what you call deeper questions so that we can teach into the details. Yeah. So fine then. So that's about life cycle, guys. Now, in this, we are going to focus on what? Integration, which means integration comes after MDM before deliver. That's a summary. Now, let us talk about integration tools. See, integration tool, as the name suggests, collection, right? So which means we can collect or collect data from one or more source systems. Like for example, we get the data from multiple states within a country. Now, in that, which means in all the states, the structure is same, but data differs from state to state. Yeah. So that's where one can start thinking of using what integration tools to collect it. So our Informatica Cloud is going to help us to perform that. Simple example, right? Now, once you understand that, the next thing is what? How this particular Informatica Cloud is going to work over here. So that for that, we need to understand the architecture. I hope all of you could able to see the diagram on my desktop, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, remember, guys, in we are trying to talk about architecture at high level. So we'll start with what? First level of understanding the architecture, then second level, third level, and fourth level. So I'll talk about all the levels so that we can understand this architecture with an incremental approach. Yeah. Now, let us start with the first part. Yeah, first level. If you look at this diagram, there are two parts over here, or two layers we can say. Bottom is going to be on-premise layer, or in short we call on-prem layer, and top portion is what? Cloud layer. No, that's the first bullet point we need to remember. Yeah. Now, on-prem is local, right? Our local, let's say our local laptop or desktop, whatever, right? So where you will have file, data in files or tables or application, whatever, doesn't matter for us. That's what we call on-premise. Yeah. Cloud means which is a remote. It's as simple as that. Like for example, we got data which is in Amazon or a Google or Salesforce or some other cloud. Yeah. So there are the examples of storage or cloud storage medias, right? Yeah. There's another part within the cloud which we call Informatica Cloud. Yeah. So I think as I said earlier, Informatica Cloud, so where Informatica takes care of installation, configuration, and maintenance, which means most of the admin activities would be under the control of Informatica. Remember that, right? So that's what we can see here. Yeah. Now, as I said earlier, whenever you deal with the data, we have to have metadata. Can you see here? Bidirectional data line with arrow indicates what? Metadata. And solid bidirectional line, right, which indicates what? Data. I'm trying to talk about terms based like what we use here. Now there's a one more term here, agent. Agent will act as a mediator between what? On-premise and cloud layer. I repeat, agent will act as a mediator between on-premise and cloud layer. So which means it knows like how to transfer data from on-prem to cloud and cloud to on-prem. No, that's it. Now, in order to perform this particular data transfer, we have to have what? Metadata. This metadata will be stored in what? Informatica Cloud repository. In short, we call it as ICR, which is Informatica Cloud Repository. So repository is a place where we store metadata. For instance, let us say we are trying to build one mapping or any meta activity within the local box. Now, if we save it, this will be saved in where? Informatica Cloud Repository. Now, the next question, if you want to transfer data from on-prem to cloud, what agent does, it is going to pull the metadata, and whatever meta contains, data will be transferred from source to a target accordingly. That's it, which means metadata is going to play very key role while performing the data transfer between cloud on-prem or on-prem to cloud. Clear, guys? So that's it about simple way to understand the architecture of Informatica Cloud. You know, there's a firewall between what the cloud and local, because we can protect these two layers by using a firewall, or we can say we can protect agent by using a firewall. Firewall could be a simple firewall, or it could have even proxy. So next level of protection. Yeah. So that's it. Because so we need to make sure that we are protecting the agent along with what data. How do you do it? One, by using a firewall. Second, by using firewall with the proxy. Or third, by using only proxy, whatever. So there are the ways, right, through which we can protect agent as well as data. So that's the first level of understanding the architecture of Informatica Cloud. Any questions, guys, from anybody? Okay, now let us talk about second level of understanding the architecture. Remember, guys, if you say cloud, cloud works based on what? IPOS. IPOS means Informatica Platform as a Service. Informatica Platform means, remember, guys, every word will have meaning. Whatever I talk, right? You know, so you can ask questions accordingly. For example, Informatica Platform or Info Platform, which comprises of set of services. You know, in Informatica Cloud context, I'm talking about. You know, in local context, Informatica Platform is a collection of multiple tools like Power Center, data quality, data profiling, and so on. Right here, set of services or set of microservices. So microservices, yeah? Or in short, we call it as what? IPOS, which means Informatica Platform as a Service. Remember, guys? So that's it. Yeah. So now, which means what? Whatever we talk within Informatica Cloud, they're all based on what? Is service driven. I repeat, whatever we talk within this Informatica Cloud, they're all service driven. So we call it as what? Microservice. For example, if we talk about data integration, then data integration is going to be a service, or we can say that data integration as a service. So that's what we can see as part of this particular diagram. Can you see? Integration as a service. Because so in order to perform data integration operations, we use a separate service which we call data integration service. That's the first bullet point, which is different from earlier diagram. Now, other parts. On the left side, we can see on-premise. On the right side, we can see what? Cloud. Now, can you see 1, 2, 3? Meaning what? If you say, or if you want to transfer data from local to cloud, so what we need to do? Agent should pick up the metadata from Informatica Cloud repository. That's what one. Then start taking the data from local and then get it transferred to the cloud. That's it. So this is what we do as part of this particular Informatica Cloud architecture. Clear, guys, to everyone? Yes or no? Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So local, we can have any storage, any kind of data, guys. Like for instance, here, data could be from SQL Server, Oracle, SAP, CBEL, PeopleSoft, anything. Data could be in any form or Excel sheet, whatever, right? And then this data would get transferred to the cloud where we can see like a Salesforce, Amazon, and so on. Yeah. So that's what we can see as part of this particular diagram. Clear, guys? Now let us talk about next level. Yes. So let us talk about third level. Can you see, guys? On the right side, we could able to see on-premise layer. On the left side, we got cloud layer. Yes or no? Yeah. Here, from this particular diagram, we can understand like what kind of protocols that we use in Informatica Cloud. Example, can you see here, when it comes to metadata, we are using what? HTTPS protocol. Yes or no? I repeat, when we talk about metadata, we are using what? HTTPS protocol, which means in order to perform, create metadata, modify metadata, and configure some admin activities or administration activities, right? All of them would make use of HTTPS protocol, and result of that will be stored in Informatica Cloud repository. As I said earlier, ICR is a place where we store metadata of whatever we do within the local environment. Clear, guys? That's about metadata. Now we can talk about data also here. Yeah. So can you see here, there are two protocols that we can see as part of this particular diagram, namely HTTPS and SOAP. SOAP means Standard Object Access or Adapter Protocol. Which means why we have to have these two protocols, because remember guys, some of the applications which are based on SOAP protocol, some applications which are based on HTTPS. That is why Informatica Cloud, it supports what? Both the protocols. So depending upon the external application, we can choose appropriate protocol to get the job done. Clear? So that's it. Now, if you look at this particular data part, see agent, what it does, it is going to pull the data from, let's say, local file or table, then start getting it transferred to a cloud which uses what? Appropriate protocol. That's it. And vice versa. In the sense, cloud can also pick the data from the cloud and get it transferred to local. In between, it will make use of the repository, because agent first it should pick up my data from here and start what you call transferring data from local to cloud or cloud to local. That's it. Yeah. In this diagram, we are trying to focus primarily on the protocols usage, HTTPS and SOAP. Clear, guys? To everyone? Yes or no? So that's it. Now let us talk about bit complex. In the sense, here we can see almost all the components that we use as part of Informatica Cloud architecture. Yeah. So before we get into this particular diagram, if you have any questions, guys, you can start asking those questions. Yeah. Or else, have you got any what message from any link with respect to pre-test, guys? I think last 5-10 minutes, or you can use it to take pre-test. Okay. Okay, fine. So now let us talk about what you call architecture. So before that, can you take 5 minutes or 10 minutes break, guys? Yeah. Figures are okay because I kept on talking many times, so you guys need to digest also. Let's take 10 minutes break. After we come back, I'll talk about detailed architecture. Then we'll get into hands-on. So like how to get into the tool to perform practical examples. Fine. So let's take a break for 10 minutes. Now 16:27, right? So we'll meet at 16:37 or 40. Fine. Okay, guys. Thanks.
Okay.
So let us continue, guys. So yes, I think everyone has come back, right? Yeah, fine. So let us talk about this architecture in detail. This covers all the components that we use within Informatica Cloud. Yeah. So let us see here. So in here, in the bottom portion is going to be what? On-premise layer, and top portion is a cloud layer. Yeah. Let us start from the beginning. Remember, guys, in order to get into this Informatica Cloud, so we need to have credentials or third-party identity providers like LDAP or single sign-on, whatever, right? So using which we can log on to Informatica Cloud, right? So that's what we can see over here. That's the first thing. Once you log in, so in ISCS, you can see, right, Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, right? So it is going to make use of appropriate micro services to log in. First thing, yeah. Now, look at second component here, which is going to be secure agent, which is one of the utility. So that is going to help us in order to transfer data from local to cloud and vice versa. And this particular utility, or you can say service, yeah. So it's not a microservice, it's a service. So this particular service can be installed in a Windows platform or in what? Linux platform. Remember, guys, I repeat, this particular agent can be installed in Windows platform or Linux platform. Yeah. So that's it. So we can also say that secure agent or Informatica secure agent will act as a mediator or a broker between what are local and cloud. So that's what we can see here, right? That's about secure agent component. And the protocol, now let us talk about protocol. Can you see here? We talked about HTTP protocol, HTTPS protocol, and SOAP protocol. Yeah. So which means we can pull the data from the local HTTPS, we can push data to cloud with the SOAP or HTTP. It could be anything. So that is with respect to what protocols uses. So you can see here HTTPS, but we can also have what you call even SOAP as well. You know? Now there's a one more component. Can you see here? On-premise data could be what? A simple storage media like a SQL server or Teradata, or it could be a file, or it could be some application. Like for example, SAP, CBEL, Oracle, or PeopleSoft, or any other CRM applications. So this is how the local data would be made available. Remember that, which means if you have this data available, secure agent knows like how to pull the data from here and push it to any cloud and vice versa, which means secure agent also knows like how to pull the data from cloud environment to push it to the local environment. Yeah. So next we can see here the proxy. SAML means security assertion markup language. We use that in order to provide single sign-on capabilities. So which means when you try to log in, we can use single sign-on. Like for example, let us say we have got an organization where they follow what? LDAP. So we can use similar credentials even to get into this Informatica Cloud based on what? LDAP. So that's where single sign-on capability, we have it within this Informatica Cloud. But this is an optional thing because Informatica Cloud itself has got internal authentication and authorization mechanism. Yes or no? So that's it. Yeah. Now let us talk about top portion. In the top portion, on the right side, we could able to see what? Cloud data. Remember, there's a difference here. Cloud can be used, one, to install, configure, and maintain, which is on the left side. Second, we can also use it to store it. On the right side, we can see the storage media. Like, let us say we need to store the data based on what? Paper use. In that case, we can use what? Appropriate cloud storage media like a Salesforce, NetSuite, Amazon, Google Cloud, or whatsoever. All of them will be used to store data in a cloud space based on paper use. We all know that. That is about on the right side. So that's why we can see business data, which works based on, let us say, HTTPS or SOAP. You know? Now, let us get into what? Within the cloud layer, the left part of it, where we can say, see, Informatica Cloud offers many capabilities, and each of those capabilities would be expressed in the form of what? Microservices. Example, data integration as a service, data quality as a microservice, data profiling as a microservice, business 360 console as a microservice, reference 360 as a microservice, and so on. It offers multiple microservices, and each of those services have got what? Specific capabilities or specific features. That's what we can see micro services list here. Now the question, in order to make use of these services, we have to have what I call metadata. So for that, we can see here the storage media, which will be used for multiple microservices. So to store metadata. For example, let us say we are storing metadata based on what? Data integration. Now, can we make use of similar metadata for MDM or data quality or profiling? Answer yes. So that's where we use what? Central repository, which we call Informatica Cloud Repository, which can be used by multiple microservices if needed. So that's what you can see under Informatica Cloud. We got microservices, repository part. Data part is optional, guys. Usually, Informatica Cloud environment, they don't encourage people to use it as for data because Informatica Cloud has been designed as what? Processing engine, not as a what? Storage engine. Remember that. If you want to have storage part, then we can go with what? The right part of this cloud, which is Salesforce or Amazon or something else. Yeah, that's about Informatica Cloud, right? Now, can you see there is a one more agent here, Informatica Secure Agent or Cloud Hosted Agent. Why do we need it? Remember, guys, let us say we need to make multiple cloud applications to talk to each other. For instance, we need to make the output of this Amazon that will be made available to the Salesforce. To do that, we can make use of cloud-hosted agent or Informatica secure agent. So which is going to help us, one, to transfer data from here, one cloud data to what other cloud. That's what we can see. Or we can also have what I call data transfer from Salesforce to Amazon, which means within itself we can have data transfer, which means cloud-hosted agent, it has been designed in order to make multiple cloud applications or multiple cloud storage medias to talk to each other. For example, let's say if you want to transfer data from Amazon, some bucket, S3 bucket, whatever, right, to Salesforce, we can do it. Or we can also get data from one of the Salesforce object to what Amazon S3 bucket or whatsoever. So in such cases, we can start making use of Informatica secure agent. That's it, guys. So that's it about the architecture. In this diagram, you could able to see all the components that we use in order to perform Informatica cloud related activities. We all have to understand this architecture without any gaps, because once we understand this, then we can get into practical examples. So which is quite easy. It's not complex thing. Yeah. Any questions from anybody? Prasad, Sayed, Gayatri.
One question. So the secure agent that we are installing on the in the on-premise layer, that has to be installed for the entire organization only once, right? That does not need to be installed for each and every machine through which we are going to access the Informatica cloud.
Can you please repeat a question if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. So the secure agent that we are using in the on-premise layer, that has to be installed for one organization once, right? That does not need to be installed for each and every machine through which the Informatica cloud is going to be accessed.
Answer is it depends. So
Okay.
that's a good question. So let us say answer is yes and no. Adi. Well, let's take yes. Usually, per organization, we can install one agent to get the job done. Now let us take another case. Let's say we need to process large volume of data with many business operations, and all of them should get over within 8-hour time window. In that case, just by using one secure agent, can we get the job done? Answer is no. In such cases, we can install multiple secure agents associated to one organization, or we can have within one top level organization, we can have multiple sub-organization. For each sub-org, we can have corresponding agent usage, which means what? In order to obtain degree of parallelism, yeah, then we have to have multiple agents so that we could able to achieve what I call given SLA, which is service level agreement. Yeah. So answer is it depends, Adi.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but we have got both the provisions. That's a fantastic question. Yeah, any other questions from anybody, guys? Okay, fine. So once we understand, now let us try to get into what the practical part of it, because too much theory is not a good thing. So now let us start understanding the practical part. So let's say we have, first we need to get into the link. Yeah. So copy and paste, all of you guys. I hope you all have got the link. Yeah. So let me try to log on from my system. If everything works, then you guys also can try. Yeah. So everyone will have your own credentials, guys. Let's say Prasad will have his own credentials. Gayatri will have her own credentials. Fine. Example. So let us take username. You'll get username and password. I'm just copying and pasting username and then password. Let me try. Even I was not tried earlier. Yes, and click on login. Yeah. What happened? No response. Let me try to refresh. Yes. Now we could able to get in here. So click on connect. Say start. See, we'll have virtual machines. So each one of you'll get separate virtual machine where we can log in and start performing Informatica Cloud operations. To do that, we can register, install all that we are going to do now. Yeah. I'm trying to connect.
Hi, sir. Narasimhan, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, actually, some participants are I think anyone facing lab challenges?
I provided link to.
Yes, ma'am.
get in there.
Yes, sir. I already shared in the chat window, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah,
guys, you guys
if
are
you're
following
yes,
those
sir, please go
instructions
ahead.
and whatever Nishant said in the chat box. Oh God.
I
it should
think
be.
we are stuck on VM status. It's running from past 15-20 minutes.
Yes, sir. For that reason only, I have joined now. So because we have some issue in the lab, so our lab team are working on that. So I kindly request you to allow sometimes it will be resolved as soon as possible. Even I am also working on that, sir. So for that reason only, I asked if anybody facing lab challenges or what.
Fine.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll do one thing. Yeah, I think that
Yes,
is
sir.
fine. Let them take their own time. Today, what I'll do
Okay.
is I'll talk about from local system where Informatica Cloud got installed, so
Okay.
that you'll understand from the broader perspective. After that, we'll get into practical examples from tomorrow, or if not, after 1 hour, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
I think
Thank
that
you
should
so
be
much,
fine.
sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, madam. So let me try to make use of the local environment. So yeah, look at here, guys. So when you say usage of this particular Informatica Cloud works based on what? Subscription mode, which means we can subscribe and use it for commercial purpose or for learning purpose. For learning purpose, we can go up what I call 30-day trial version, or for commercial, so we can have 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever, right? That's a starting point. Now, let us see, in order to perform any Informatica Cloud activities, first thing I talked about the registration part. Yeah. So to register, what we need to do? Let's open a new tab and supply what Informatica Cloud application integration free trial. Can you see guys here? So Informatica Cloud application integration free trial. Yeah. So we can also use simple Informatica Cloud registration. With that, we're not going to get the license for application integration. That's why we are using what? Informatica Cloud application integration free trial, right? I hope all of you could able to see, right? Same thing you guys can also perform on your local system. We have restrictions on your company's laptop, so it's better to use what virtual machine where you will not have any restrictions, right? Now, once you get this particular page where you can just click on, let's say first link, yeah. So yeah, and then supply the inputs over here. So let it come, yeah. So you need to supply the first name, last name, job title, work mail, and so on, yeah. And at the end, you need to enable this particular checkbox to agree the terms and conditions of the usage of this software. So that's it. Once you are done with that, you'll get an email. So from that email, you just have to verify. Or I'll try to show from my system, like what kind of mail you're going to get it after subscription, right? So it's yes. Yes, can you see guys? This is what I'll get a mail from admin user. So you can just click on that. Yeah, here you just have to click on that link to verify. Then it asks for resetting the password, like new password, confirm password, all that. Yeah. Can you see verify me now? Yeah. Because I've already done it. So I don't need to do that. You guys need to do that. So here you can see the username that we used for registration, which is the email ID. You can use your personal Gmail ID, guys. Don't try to use Mass Mutual official ID. And then you can see the link. This is a link that we are going to use in order to access Informatica Cloud. Yeah? So that's the first thing we need to do. Yeah, I hope it is clear, right? So far, yes or no? So log on to this link or Google it, that registration article for trial version. Then you'll get this page. Click on that first link, you'll get this page, supply the inputs. Then after that, you'll get a mail to your registered mail ID. Verify. After verification, then you can supply this link. Let me supply this link. Okay, I already have it. Yeah, can you see here? This is a link. We just start to copy paste, or you can just type it whichever you like it, enter. Yeah. So you can see here the username and password. So let us apply that. Yeah. So we supplied username and password, then click on login. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see, guys? These are the multiple microservices we have, where we have license for 30 days. So we can make use of these things. Yeah. Then once we could able to say it, next step is what? We have got. Yes, please. Yeah. If you have any question, you can shout out, or else please go on mute, guys. I request everyone to do the same thing. Yeah. So we can see, let us say, administrator microservice, data integration microservice, data quality, data profiling, monitor, app integration console, API manager, API pod, location insights. These are the services or microservices where we have got the license. Yeah. If you just show all services, some are there, some more services are there which where you don't have license for MDM services, Axon, data governance, and also catalog, and so on. Right? Now let us take the first and foremost thing that we need to get is administrator. Why? Because we talked about architecture where, so we need to get what? Secure agent. Yeah. So we need to install this small agent within our local environment. Yeah. So to do that, so we should get into what? Administrator service. That's what we are trying to do now. Yeah. Yes. Can you see, guys? So Adi was trying to ask question, right? About organization. Remember, guys, once you register free trial, it will be associated to organization name, or we can also call it as what? Org ID. So using which we can keep track of this particular users. Yeah. Now, on top of that, we can also add n number of sub-organizations, and for each sub-organization, we can have relevant restrictions. That's also possible. That's okay. I'll come to that later. Now, once you log in here, so can you see here, there is a runtime environment. So runtime environment is a what I call environment which will be used to take care of data transfer. Yeah. So which means we can look at here. So we can install multiple secure agent in order to take care of scalability, workload, whatever. This is what I was trying to talk, Adi. So which means within a group, we can have group of agents. Yeah. In order to take care of degree of parallelism, whatever. Yeah. So now a question, first time when you registered, right? Nothing will be there as part of this agents list. For example, there's a group here. Within that, there's only one agent. Yeah. Yeah. But first time you'll not have anything. So you can just click on download to download secure agent and copy this particular install token, just like a secret key, and paste it somewhere in our notepad, because as part of installation, we have to make use of it. Clear, guys? So that's it. And then, so I think in architecture also, we have seen Windows, Linux, right? Same thing we could able to see over here also, like Windows 64, Linux 64. Yeah. So that's it. After that, click on download. So you need to follow the similar instructions, guys, to set up on your virtual machine also. Once the virtual machine is ready, right, you'll get a mail, right? So after the session also, you can just log on to your virtual machine, perform first registration, second activation, third log on to this, fourth install, download secure agent, fifth we need to install it. These 5 steps we all need to follow in order to get into the practical examples from tomorrow. Fine. So that's it. So now once you download, we could able to see it got downloaded here. So we can go to downloads location where you will have agent which got installed. That's it. After that, we can just click on this particular application to install agent under Windows 64-bit platform. Yeah. So installing this agent is a quite straightforward, guys. We just have to follow the navigations. Yeah. The default, all will be default. You don't need to do anything. Just keep clicking on what? Next, next, next. So that agent will be ready to use. At the end, it lasts for username and token. Token anyway, we already copied here. Yes or no? We need to copy and paste. Username is what? The mail ID that we supplied as part of registration. That's all we need to do. Yeah. So once we are done with that, agent will be up and running after some time. You need to wait for 5-10 minutes or even 15-20 minutes. It depends on your system capacity. Fine. I hope it is clear about like how to register, how to activate, how to download agent, how to install agent, how to supply username and security token. Clear, guys, to everyone? Yes or no? Yes, right. Okay. Now,
Hello.
once you install, yes.
Actually, I have I registered the form in the laptop, so I got a verification link to Gmail. So from there, I'm registering with some other like other forms. So now how I need to access that to in my like official laptop in office laptop.
Oh, official laptop, you can still use registered mail ID and password, but in official laptop, we can we need to install local agent, or else if you access your local laptop from official laptop, it's okay, but normally it will not have, you will not have it. So you need to install it.
The virtual machine started for me. So
Oh, very fantastic. Then guys, if the VM is ready, then you guys can start getting in there. Yeah. So let me also try. Oh, still is taking time. Yeah, fine. That is some issue. Let's not get into that, guys, because we have only less time. Let's use it effectively. Fine. So, okay, so far it's good, right? About agent part. Once it is done, now let's say we are in Windows, right? We can go to services list where we can see one service which we call Informatica Cloud Secure Agent. Yes, sir. So I repeat, we can see what Informatica Cloud Secure Agent, which is up and running. So make sure that it is up and running. You should not touch. Don't try to restart or stop whatever. Don't do that unless there is a problem. I'll come to that when there is a problem. Yeah. So that's it. So now this is ready to use. In the front end also, we can go to administrator microservice and the runtime environment. We can check the status of this agent, which is up and running. Yes or no, guys? So that's it. Now, whatever is required to perform Informatica Cloud activities, right? See, agent is ready. Login we have done. Source, we can have file or whatever. Say target, so or we can use just simple Informatica Cloud to store meta, use meta. To transfer data from local to local also we can do, or local to Salesforce also we can do. Which means what? Whatever from architecture, right? All will be set. Only thing that we need to do is we need to start performing practical examples. Yeah. So let me try getting into what I call data integration microservice. Fine. So click on drop down and select data integration microservice. Because our key focus point is more towards to perform data integration activities. Yeah. Yes. Now we can see dashboard here with one runtime environment. There's no visa, right? Some connections, projects, folders, whatever, and agent, which is up and running here. And then my jobs, nothing is there because you have not built any job. And we can see project in a pie chart form, like how many assets we have underneath. Then recently add assets here. So I've just used this environment for some other batch. So that's why some other here. Yeah. So now we need to understand like how to perform basic operation within Informatica Cloud environment. Yeah. Because we need to make sure that our environment is right. So how do you make sure it's right? We need to create one simple meta activity like building a mapping or task, whatever, execute and see the result. If the data gets transferred from source to a target, which means our environment is fine. Yeah. Let us try doing it. So click on new. Can you see, guys? There are multiple assets supported by Informatica Cloud data integration. Like we have task, mappings, maplets, task flows, and components. Yeah. So these are the multiple assets supported by Informatica Cloud, right? So let us start with a mapping. See, using a mapping, we can perform ETL operations. ETL means extract, transform, and load, which means we can build a mapping that would contain the source, transform, which is the logic part, and target, right? So please select mapping and click on create. Yeah. Yeah, clear guys. So once you say new mapping, right? In this, we could able to say transformations palette or tools palette, where we can see all the transformations supported by mapping, or we can say data integration, like a source, target, policy, whatever, right? We'll see one by one with examples. Yeah. Now, in the middle portion, we can see what mapping workspace, or we can also call it as mapping designer, right? Where we can build ETL activities. On the top right, there is a toolbar where we can see save, run, undo, redo, validate, whatever. And a sub toolbar where we can see operational insight on or off and arranging this mapping, delete, cut, copy, paste, whatever, right? Zoom in, zoom out. All that we can see over here. Now, let's get into what bottom portion, which is what properties panel, where if you
The
select the map,
on off bulb, it will disable the mapping functionality, or how it works.
so this one, right? Can you see
Correct.
here? Now it is on.
Okay.
You can see, right? Bulb is on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. Now if you say off, you cannot see that. Yeah.
Okay.
In the sense, so we can just use that in order to what you call select some transformations, whatever, right? Plus, we can also make what I call avoiding monitoring activities, right? Plus, sometimes you can also disable data transfer, but all are not supported, but in commercial, they're all supported. For now, answer is yes, you can say, right? So now let us try what we are trying to understand what properties panel, right, in the bottom. Yes. Now let's see if you select a mapping workspace here. Mapping properties can be seen here, like name of the mapping, location where we store this mapping, description of the mapping. You know? So now on the right side, you can see there are three buttons over here. First one, minimize. Second one, maximize. Third one, restore. This is a normal default view, we can say. You know, restore to default view. For example, if I maximize and click on restore, it will get into what? Normal view. If you say minimize, click on restore, it will come back to normal view. If you want to do it manually, we can also use what up down arrow, right? Like to pull up or down, right? We can also do it in this way. Yeah? So this is a view part. Now, same way for every object that we have within this mapping workspace, you will have properties here. So we talked about mapping properties earlier. Now we are trying to focus on source, target, or transformation properties. So select this and configure the properties. Let's try doing it practically. Yeah. So now I think the view part is clear, right? Now we can configure and see whether we could able to perform basic mapping, creation, execution, and verifying the results. Now, these three things we are going to do now. So first thing, mapping name. That's a mapping underscore source underscore target, you know, which is simple, straight through mapping. We are going to perform over here, right? That's a basic mapping. 2, check the environment. Yeah. Fine. So that's it. Oh. Fine, environment, right? Now let us configure one by one. So go to source, yeah, and configure source properties. Let's say source is a file, yeah, which is a flat file, we can say. Fine. And then go to, see here, once you change the name here, automatically it appears here, the label, right? And description, if you want, you can supply, or else you can use same as source. So read data from a flat file example. Yeah. Now let's go to source properties. Yeah. Let me maximize this. Can you see guys here? Here, first time, let's say we are trying to get in, right? So we can create a new connection to pull the data from a flat file. Yeah. For that, click on new connection. So where we can specify, let's say, flat file underscore source underscore connection, right? And we can also supply the description, or we can use the same as connection name. I hope we're all on the same page, right, guys? Or we can also use sample data, which we get it along with Informatica, like we can see Salesforce, Oracle, whatever, right? We can use it. But anyway, we'll use actual data where we are going to understand everything from the scratch, you know, like creation of a file, adding a sample data, read the sample data from given mapping, whatever, right? All that we are going to do end to end, so that there won't be any gap at all. And connection type, can you see here? These are the default connections types supported by Informatica Cloud. Let's say we are focusing on flat file connection. Yeah. And select the runtime environment. Can you see here? In this environment, we have installed one agent. As I said earlier, we can have n number of agents. Select appropriate agent over here. Fine. So now we can go to source or C drive in our local system, where we can create sample files. I've created sample file here, seq1.txt, where we can see what sample data. You can also just add C1, C2, C3 columns with the sample data, like what you can see over here. Fine. So once we have sample data in this location, then we can supply the path C source. So that's where we have got sample data, right? Our own sample data. Yeah. Now date format, the default. If you want to change, you can change it. And code page, by default, we will be using Windows Latin, but if you want, you can change it depending upon the language that we deal with. Yeah. After this, we can just click on test and see whether we could able to verify it or not. Yes, can you see guys? So test for this connection was successful, which means we supplied the right inputs. That is why it is successful. It's very straightforward. We just gave what only path selection of agent, nothing else, right? Say okay. That's a source, right? Now can you see here guys? Source type, because data can come in any form, right? So it can come in a single object, which is single flat file that would contain the data, or we can have list of files where the structure is same. For example, we talked about states, right? We can have the same structure for all the states, but data differs from state to state. In such cases, we can create a list file. Within that, we can have multiple data files where the structure is same. So this way we could able to read data from multiple files in one go. Yeah. Command. Remember, in case if you want to read data from a file or from a list of files, we can also write a shell script or a bash script or a Python script, and we can supply the script over here so that when you run the mapping, right, it would execute appropriate script. So, and then start pulling the data based on what was returned within this shell script or bash script, whatever. And parameterization, remember guys, IACS is very good to make what 100% of parameterization, which is not possible with Power Center. Partially, yes, it is possible in Power Center, but in ISCS, we could able to parameterize everything in the sense source, transformations, and target, task level, task flows level, or our own custom flows level. Everywhere we can get it parameterized. That is why customers are very attracted towards the usage of this Informatica Cloud because they don't need to depend much with the developers because they themselves can supply the input and look at the result because this can be fully parameterized. That's a one thing. And second, we already have pre-built templates given by Informatica. So end users, they can directly make use of those templates and fill the templates with their own inputs and get the response. For example, SCD type 1, SCD type 2, whatever, right? For that, developer need to put in a lot of effort. In Informatica Cloud, they don't need to do that. They can directly make use of pre-built templates given by Informatica so that they can achieve that. So which means what we are avoiding the dependency from the developer over here. Clear, guys? So that's it. Now let us, yes, please. I think someone is asking a question. Please shoot out, guys.
I had a doubt. Just now we were talking about templates for SCD and other things. So where can we see those templates?
Yes, I will show that. They are part of task actually. Yeah.
And one small request. So whenever, I mean, in between the training, whenever if you feel like telling us the differences between Power Center and ICS, please mention them. That would be great for us.
Definitely, that's a good question. I'll definitely do that. Yeah. So yes, in Power Center, right? Yeah, that's a good question. Now it's let me talk about it. In Power Center, in order to create a mapping and get it executed, right? We use multiple clients like Power Center, Repository Manager, Power Center, Designer, Workflow Manager, Workflow Monitor. Yes or no? So each has got its one specific function. For example, if you take Power Center Repository Manager, where we can perform repository operations like create a folder, modify a folder, delete folder, whatever, right? So, but here with a single client can perform all of them. All in the sense, repository manager activities, designer activities, workflow manager activities, monitor activities. Yeah. Like I think if you have used Informatica developer in the local environment, this is similar to that. Yeah.
Okay. So instead of having those monitor, repository, and the workflow manager, so we'll designer will have everything in one site.
Exactly. For example, now I think you would have noticed already. Usually in Power Center, we take care of this action, these activities in session level properties, right? Like configuring source.
Correct.
Source path, source file name, all that, right?
Yeah,
Here
session
we are
object. Yes.
doing at mapping level itself. You got right?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So click on select and supply the file name. Yeah. So because I have already created a sample file, you guys can create it and keep it in what? The source folder. Now we can start. Yeah. Let's say if you have multiple files, we can just supply the search criteria like SEQ. With this, you'll get all the files starting with SEQ. Yeah? And click on search. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can select seq1.txt, say OK. Yeah. So these things we can do it the beginning itself. Yeah. Over. Now query options and advanced options. Query options are not applicable because we are not using database. Yeah. Because a flat file, this is not applicable. Yeah, that is over. And advanced options, tracing level, I'll talk about it when we talk about debugging or troubleshooting within IACS. Yeah. This is more or less similar to Power Center because all are supporting Power Center also, test levels. Yeah. So these are similar to Power Center, there is no change. Yeah. That's it. And then click on formatting options. So this is also exactly similar to Power Center. Yeah. File type is what? A delimited or fixed width. Yeah. So we are using comma separated file because our sample data contains what? Comma separated values. That is why it's a delimited here. That's a default anyway. And delimiter, we are using comma, but if you have anything other than that, you can select it. These were newcomers, guys who are new to this Power Center and Informatica Cloud. For them, it will be useful. For people who already have got expertise in Power Center, for them, they'll get bored. Please bear with me. And row delimiter by default new line. So, and test qualifier. Remember, guys, by default, test qualifier will be double quote, meaning every field value would be enclosed with double quotes. This is the best practice because sometimes what happens is if you take an address field that would contain street number, street name, and other address attributes, right? With a separator of, let's say, comma example. If you use comma separator, what happens? There is a single field. It will be further broken down into what? Multiple subfields, which is not expected. That is why if you try to enclose every field in double quote, so you won't get to see such kind of problems. Clear, right? So that's it. Yeah. If you don't want, we can also select none. If you want only single quote, we can also use it. And escape character, guys, remember, there could be some cases where you'll have special characters like apostrophe and so on, right? So those things doesn't have any meaning to get it transferred to a target. So we can just keep out such kind of special characters. So we can specify all of them with a comma separator over here so that they'll be skipped out while transferring data from source to target. And field labels by default, first row will be treated as what? Fields or column names or a header. They are all synonyms. Yeah? And second row, from second row onwards, we consider it as what? Data row. From there, we are going to read the data. But in case if we have any, let's say, text or n number of lines, as a first 10 lines have been reserved for what? Like what this particular file does and logo and so on, right? Then as a from 20th line is going to be data line. In that case, we can specify 20. So that we can supply as part of this and then say okay, right? So once you say okay, then in order to verify this formatting options, you can just click on preview data and see whether we could able to preview it or not. And this preview also, we don't have it for Power Center everywhere. Some places, yes, not all the places. Here, you'll have at the source, you'll have every transformation you can preview data. So that way, debugging will be much easier in comparison with Power Center. You know? But this is applicable for people who already have got experience in Power Center, guys. Others, you guys can just ignore that. You know? Even if you don't know Power Center, don't worry. It's not required. If you have, it's okay. It's an advantage, but it's not mandatory. Fine. So because Informatica Cloud is that easy, remember. Yeah? But anyway, AI tools are much more easier than this. But for last 10 minutes, I'll talk about how we could able to perform all these Informatica Cloud activities in a single shot by using AI. It's very, very easy. Yeah, we'll see that later. So now click on this particular fields where we could able to see 3 columns with a string type, with a precision, scale, whatever, right? So they're all derived from origin, which is seq1.txt. Why we have this origin, guys? Because we talked about file list, yes or no. So in that case, if you have origin with multiple files, so it makes more meaningful. Now, if you want to change this particular type to something else, then what need to be done here? On the right top, we can see options, right? Click on that option and select what? Edit metadata. I think we're on the same page, right? Yes or no, guys?
Yep.
Yes. So click on edit metadata. So now we can change the type from string to what? That's an integer. I'm just showing one example. So that's an integer, right? It is converted. Yeah. So because we have integer data in single column. Yeah. So yeah, remember guys, this is a best practice. It is always advisable to use what right type, because there will be any what type conversion issues. For example, in this case, we have what string type default, right? But actual data is what? Numeric. Yeah. In such cases, numeric type is better than string type. Not only that, if you want to perform some numeric operations after source, again we need to perform conversion. So such things need to be avoided as much as we could. There are some cases where we cannot avoid. In that case, we can convert from string to integer or integer to string or whatever, depending upon the context. Clear, right? So that's it. Yeah. Now, if you have too many fields, we can also search over here so that we can see only the specific one, C1 or C2, whatever, right? And if you don't specify, all can be seen over here. If you want to add some more fields, click on plus and specify, let's say C4 with the corresponding type, and then say OK. That's it. This way we can add.
One update, the lab is ready. I think I'm able to access.
Oh, you could able to access. Let me try. All of it, you guys can start getting it.
Yeah, I was actually trying to connect, and I was able to download the not download. Sorry, I was able to access the Informatica Cloud, and I saw one runtime already existing, which was the Informatica hosted runtime. So can we use that, or do we need to install that runtime on our own?
Yeah, let us install our own thing. So we'll come to that. Yeah, that's a good question, guys. I think in architecture, I think we have already seen 2 agents, right? One is here. That's what this part you are talking about, right? Where I press the mouse pointer, right? Yes, sir. But we are going to install this. Why? Another question, right? You have a lot of flexibility. One, to debug. Second, to apply tunables. And third, to access. But we don't have that much of flexibility with a cloud hosted agent, because we need to request for every change that you do from Informatica, which is not a right good thing, right? That is why it is always advisable to use our local agent. That's one thing. And restrictions also, you have lots of restrictions with this. All of them can be avoided if you maintain our own local agent. Fine. Okay, let me connect. Yeah. So I request everyone to connect to this virtual machines, guys. If it is working, it's good. Unless I'll talk about it from my system after the session, right? You guys can practice if you're okay. So for me, it's still taking time. Yeah.
I actually for me VM is delinked. Please contact your administrator is showing.
Oh, okay, fine. I think let's not get into that environment issue, guys. After session, right? You guys can play around and take your own time to install whatever. I think we covered concepts, right? And practically like what steps you need to follow. You'll have recording, right? You can just play the recording and follow the instructions. This is very straightforward, right? So let's use this time for what we call effectively, guys. Yeah. So now we can also see like order, right? Ascending, descending, whatever. We can specify here ascending or descending. See, descending means C4, C3, C2, C1. Yeah. That's it. This is about metadata. Yeah. So now we can also see the E10 existing fields at runtime and our currently processed file name, which is like which file name, right? Against with the each column, but each row, right? You can see in the target. That is similar to Power Center. So that's about source, guys. I think source part is clear to everyone. Now, let us try to talk about target. Same as source. Yeah. Let's say we are trying to focus on transferring data from local to local, which is one file to other file, file to database, and database to file, whatever. Let us take in this case file to file, target file. Yeah. So we can specify some description. So first example, and I'll talk about it. So target, which is straight through target. Without any intermediate manipulation, right? That's why I'm just using this. Then incoming fields. Can you see, guys? All the fields, C1 to C4, right? And we have got field rules. So where we can say include, exclude, whatever. By default, all the fields. Let's focus on this first example, right? Then we'll talk about filtering that. Then go to target and configure what target connection properties. Yeah. Go to connection and click on new. Yeah. Yes. Target file connection. Fine. So copy paste and select flat file name. Select agent, same as source, and supply here C slash, let's say target. Yeah. So make sure that you have created a folder over here. Example. In my case, I already have a target folder under C drive. Yeah. And click on test. Yeah. Yes. So test for this connection was successful, and then say OK. See, connection the same name already exists. So if you have this already same connection, right, you'll get this message. I've just changed the name. So now it's connected successful. Say okay. That's it. Now we can specify the target. Target could be existing one, or we can also create to generate at runtime. So create new at runtime, specify the target file name here. Yeah. So let us say here seq_1, that's a source file, right? Then suffix with the target with sample.txt. Yeah. That's it. Say okay.
So if the file already exists, that will override the data, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If it exists, yes, it is going to override. But here what we are trying to know, generate new at runtime. So it is going to create and populate data. If we already have it, yes, you are right.
Okay. And if we select existing file and the file is not present, then the mapping would fail.
Yes, exactly. Existing means it should exist actually. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's why if you select this, right, get new runtime, it will take care of both. You know, if it
Okay.
exists, it will populate. If not, it will create and populate. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So target fields, all will be there. Field mapping is not required because we're asking data integration to create. That's why mapping is not required, because by default, all the column data would get transferred in time. But if you want only expected columns to be transferred, then we need to select what? Existing. Fine. That's it. Now we can just save it. Clear, guys? Yeah. So now can you see here? The mapping is what? Valid. Yeah. Which means we don't have any syntax, semantic, or validation issues. Syntax semantic means compilation stuff, any grammar. Validation means link. That's it. Yeah. If you want to explicitly perform this validation check, there's a validate button. So click on it again so that the plan will disappear. That's it, guys. Now we can run the mapping. Click on My Jobs to monitor this mapping. Monitoring part is not that great, guys, in Informatica Cloud compared to workflow monitor of what we have in the Power Center. Yeah.
So we won't need
Now,
a mapping task in order to execute this. We can execute the mapping directly.
directly. Same as Informatica developer. If no Informatica development local, right, on-prem environment,
Okay.
we use it for data quality, right? Even
Right.
there also, we can execute mapping directly.
Okay.
Same here, there's no change. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can ask question, how will it get executed? Remember, guys, execution environment is going to be always task only, no other way. But in this case, for every mapping, when you try to execute, right, it would create a task by itself without you doing it. Yeah. So that is why you can see, okay, we are executing direct mapping, but it's not the case. It is going to create a task, which is a mapping task, and then get it executed. That's what happens in reality, right? Because task is the only one way to execute, guys, everywhere, either in local environment, even cloud environment. It's the same thing. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. Any other questions, guys? So you could able to see here instance name. What is instance name? Instance means what? Run. Per run. Run one, instance one. Run two, instance two. So which means instance will be identified by using what? Instance ID or run ID. For example, at the end you can see -1. 1 indicates what? Instance ID. Next time when you run, right, then instance ID will be 2 or whatever, right? That's what would be the sequence followed as part of Informatica Cloud. Clear? And the location where this particular mapping got saved, it doesn't have any subtask, and start time, end time is not completed. So rows process still going on. We can refresh actually here to
So,
look at the state.
how many runs we can see here in my jobs folder? That
It depends on your monitoring window. Yeah. So there's no limit on that. If the screen size is big, you can see more. Small, you can see less. That's it. Yeah. So that doesn't matter. But
if I want to access previous data, so in Power Center we have a repository. So how we can achieve in this IACS?
same thing here also. We have got, yeah, like export import. Here also you can get previous instances from the repository. That's always there. That concept is same here also. Fine.
Okay.
Fine. Now we can see end time also, right? And rows process. I think 6 rows here in the source. All the rows got transferred to a target. I think we want to open, right? Yes. Yeah. What happened? Yes. Can you see, guys? There are 6 rows, 3 plus 3, and 1 header. So we can see all 6 rows was processed. At the end, can you see here? If you want to restart, we can restart this mapping. If you want to download the session log or mapping log or mapping task log, right, you can click on it. And to look at the metrics, which is statistics, right? Click on this instance where we can see detailed metrics here. Like can see task name here, instance ID is 1, task type is what? Mapping, which is a mapping task. And who started this? Who has registered, right? So that mail ID will come here, which is user. Yeah? And start time, end time, and time taken to complete this particular mapping task. Yeah? Runtime environment, which is a host name actually. But anyway, if you want, you can change also. And secure agent, we have got only one. That's what we can see here. But anyway, we can have a number of agents. While running, you can select and run. On the right top, you can see results. Status is what? Successful. And success rows are how many? 6 rows, no errors. If you want to download the session log, we can see it here. Let's click on that.
So without manual downloading the log, can we put any path to get my every runs logs to particular
By
folder?
default, you have it. In the agent location, we can see those logs by default.
So we need to access
But
to transform that log from there only.
Sorry?
We can't put our desired folder to get the
No,
logs.
yes, we can do that. Yeah, for that, what we could do is you can run this particular mapping from a command line where you can specify the path so that logs will be dumped to that location. That's the one thing. And second, we can also in the global level, right? Like admin, right? They can also specify the location of logs. Like I think you guys would have seen, even in Power Center also, we got voice profile, right? Where you can see cache directory, reject directory, temp directory, source file date, target file date, all that, right? We can go and change the path. The same concept holds good even here also. Yeah, right? Clear, right?
Yeah.
In Power Center also we can change the location of this session logs. Even in here also we can change the location. In admin level, we can just go and change the voice profile settings. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Now, so you can see your source file, 6 rows, target 6 rows, all got transferred, no errors. That's it, guys. If anybody has got any questions on this statistics, please let me know.
So now that this session is getting recorded, we'll receive immediately after this session on these recordings.
I don't know exactly, but yes, I'll check and update. Yeah? Maybe some time might be required to upload whatever, right? Some process might be there. Yeah? Because they'll have to upload to some central site, shared point location. Right?
So the reason why I asked is that like some time back, my system got restarted automatically. So I was out for some 10-12 minutes. So that is the reason. I mean, before tomorrow's session, because we have it at around 2:30. So if we can have the recording, we can do some sort of hands-on before coming to tomorrow's training session.
Yeah. So that's it about simple example, guys. Now we'll verify the data in the target.
And also, could you please
So
explain the session log and how it will generate now?
Yes, please.
Can you also could you please explain the session log, how it will be generated and how it will be look like?
Oh, I didn't get the question actually. Can you please be a bit louder?
And the job log.
Okay.
No, he's asking to view the log once, how the log is generating.
Oh, we'll see that. We downloaded right already. So we can go to download location. It's similar to session log in Power Center. Let me open that anyway. Yeah. Can you see here? This is agent group name, agent ID. Can you see task name here? Mapping source target. That's what I was saying. We can only execute a task, not a mapping, which means it is going to what you call convert mapping to what? Internal understandable task format, which is what? Mapping task. Example, can you see MTT, which means mapping task type. Remember that. Run ID. This is what I was saying. Instance ID is equal to what? Run ID. Yes, and every task will be identified by using task ID and service ID, because as we all know that data integration microservice would work based on what? Service wise. How to identify? By using the service ID started by run context type. We are using graphical user interface within this Informatica Cloud to invoke that. Now can you see here importing source definition, then target definition, default session configuration. Now tell me on what basis these three lines have come from. Basis is what? We talked about architecture, right? When you try to run, first it will get metadata. So that is what it means. It is trying to get metadata from the repository, right? Then validate both source and target before we start transferring data, right? Then can you see import mapping? Then we have got mapping contains a source product file with whatever configuration that we have done. And then we can also see any mapping variables that have been used. Nothing is there anyway. Can you see guys here? Did we create a workflow here? Answer is no. But internally, it is going to create a workflow under that mapping task or session task. We can see that somewhere here. Yes, can you see here? Session task, which within a workflow, there is going to be mapping task, or we can say session task, then execution would take place. So that's what we can see here. Yeah. So which means what outside it looks different. Inside it is similar to the power center. So like this log generation, how will it work, guys? It works based on what? DTM architecture, which is data transformation manager architecture, where you will have a DTM process, which is going to be the top level process. Underneath, you will have multiple threads. Anyway, I'll talk about that architecture later, but it's too early to talk about too many things first day. Anyway, this guy is making use of a pre-built param file. So we can go and verify that, by getting into this location. See, by default, it will have pre-built parameters. We can say system parameters. So custom parameterization, how about it anyway? So let me just copy and paste. Yes, can you see here? This way we can see files. So in that, we could able to see last runtime date, error file name, service file name, task, and whatever. So all that we could able to see here, but we opened the wrong file. So we can check date modify and then open the param file. See, now this is the right one where we could able to see current run ID. Yeah. Mapping source target. This is a task name, right? Yeah. So success and error files will be generated as part of this. This is a default parameter file, guys. Yeah. And then we can see workflow.session, similar power center. Yeah. And then no worklet, nothing here. So now we could able to see initializing the session. See here XML repository. It would maintain the repository, local and also Informatica Cloud repository. And server name is what? Runtime data transformation manager with a default folder. OS is what? Under NT, Windows NT we are executing, right? With a mapping type and format, default format we selected. And we can see session name here. Yeah, look at here. This particular DTM or Informatica Cloud or Informatica Power Center rather, they all would work with what? Multi-threading architecture, meaning there is going to be one process with n number of threads in it. Fine. Now we can see partitioning group like whatever partitioning techniques that we use in Power Center, right? All are applicable over here. So meaning pipelining parallelism and partitioning parallelism. Fine. Then thread ID, whatever, right? So parallelism started here, and then all the threads, session thread, mapping thread. This is similar to the local. Yeah. And data movement by default Unicode, and but we can also have as like one Power Center. So then session sort order by default binary. We can change if you want it for Spanish or something. We can get it changed. Yeah. So I'll talk about detail law when you talk about debugging techniques, because that time I'll talk about trace level and performance tunable patterns and how this will impacted any change that you do at task level or task flow level or admin level, whatever, right? All that, if we talk about that, it makes more sense. For now, you can just remember that this particular law will be generated based on what? DTM architecture. Just remember that. Yeah. At the end, we can see summary like the source and target. Example, source 6 rows, target 6 rows. That's it. Yeah. So this is about the law. Now, if you have any questions on this particular law, please let me know, guys, so that we can talk about it. Yeah. So have you seen any difference between the power center settlements? No, slight difference, but because we have some different terms, only those terms are different. Rest concept is same only, they no change. Right. I hope you got the clarity session log, right? So that's fine. So guys, you could able to hear me, right? Yes. Yes, right?
Yes, we can hear you. A little bit stucking, but okay.
Okay, in between, no?
Correct.
Fine. So okay.
The lab is still not working. Just wanted to inform.
Actually, lab it started after some time again. It got some error with VM.
Yeah, in my case, I can see this message saying something went wrong. We have raised a ticket.
I think I hope they will fix by tomorrow.
Okay.
Can start practicing tomorrow.
Yeah. So now let us talk about the data in the target path, right? Let us see that. Go to target and look at the data. This one, right? Yes. Now tell me, guys, from where we got this particular codes? Can someone answer this question?
It's what
I
we
think
selected in this source.
text qualifier. I think we have given double quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that is perfect. So we got double quotes text qualifier, right? That's it. That is correct. So, and for numeric data, it's not required. For string, it is required because we change one column from string to integer, right? That's why code is not applicable for it. Yeah. So that's it about simple mapping end to end. We talked about it, right? So now what you guys need to do is you can just follow the instruction to install and try to make the environment ready, guys. That's the first thing you need to do. And second, there is a pre-test actually. So you guys need to take pre-test. I don't know whether you got the link or not. Have you got the link, guys?
Yeah, yes, we got in the chart.
Yeah, please take what you call pre-test. So probably you can spend 10 minutes or whatever. And after that, you guys can leave and we'll meet tomorrow at 2:30, right? 2:30 to 6:30, right? Yes, fine. So please start pre-test part, guys, all of you. So that's all for today, guys. Looks like the lab is ready. You can just take care of setting up and then start performing one example, guys. So thanks to all and bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.